Underneath the Mistletoe, a Singer Alternate Universe, Adrienette Miraculous Ladybug Fanfiction, Part 5. Well, I know how hectic mornings can be, and getting coffee in a rush can be an entire thing, Adrien started. Marinette still looked lost and hadn't figured out that she had spilled coffee on him just yet. Yeah? I mean, like, everyone knows that, she urged him to elaborate. Adrien grinned shyly at her. You ran into a guy and spilled coffee on his shirt sleeve the other day, didn't you? Marinette's expression went from confusion to realization to sheer panic in the matter of seconds. Yeah, but how did you know? She gasped. Adrien laughed a bit. Well, you can't very well walk around the city when everyone knows what your face looks like. Well, you can, but it would be hard to get around if you're being mobbed. Marinette was silent for a second before she squeaked and clamped a hand over her mouth. Oh my God, she said frantically. Oh my God, I ran into you, she sputtered. Adrien nodded. But it's all okay. I mean, the coffee washed out. No harm was done, he said quickly, not wanting her to think that she did something wrong. Still, I should have looked where I was going, she said with a sad look. Whoops. He didn't mean to make her feel bad. No, okay, this is gonna sound weird, but I'm really glad you ran into me that morning, Adrien admitted. Marinette raised a brow at him as if to say, are you serious or crazy or like, what? Okay, maybe it was a bit of the latter, but Adrien wasn't really gonna say that out loud. A lot of people ran into me that morning, but they didn't even look back. But you did and bothered to even say sorry. And this is kind of embarrassing, but it made you just seem so special amongst everyone else. When you're a celebrity, people are fake to you and try and get things. I was technically a normal person that morning. No one thought I was big or important. Yet you still said sorry. It gave me the impression that you were a genuine and good person. And after that, I really wanted to see you, and when I did at the concert setup, I thought it was a Christmas miracle. Adrien's face was a bit red by the end of his ramblings, but Marinette didn't make fun of him for it, though. She smiled widely and brightly. Wow. Huh. I guess I'm also weirdly glad that I spilled coffee on you too now. And I kind of get that. Most people who are famous from family members are kind of snobby. Marinette winced a bit. He could only guess who she was thinking of. Perhaps a temperamental blonde that they had both spoken to recently? I try. And I can tell you try to be good and kind to everyone too. Or else you would have just been like everyone else and ran to work without a word. But really, I was really excited to have found you. That's why I went to talk to you after rehearsal. Albeit my plan was flawed, I didn't even know what to tell you when you asked what I wanted, Adrien admitted. Marinette giggled. It was adorable, to say the least. Okay, honestly, I was secretly praying you'd come talk to me too. I think it was mostly the 13-year-old in me, though. Past me really did have the biggest crush on you, she said with a light laugh. Adrien raised his brows. Really? She gave him an incredulous look. You're famous, handsome, and a blonde guy that's my age that was reputationally a nice person. I mean, like, everyone had a crush on you, she said as if the information was just worldwidely known. Maybe it was, actually. He was an overly sheltered kid, after all. The only person who had a crush on me that I knew of was Chloe, and honestly, I wasn't too partial to it, he admitted. Again, Marinette laughed. And then she went on to nearly marry that royal voice actor, Benny? What a shame, Marinette said. Her tone was playful. Adrien shook his head with a light-hearted sigh. Not that I don't like Benny. He's a chill, laid-back guy. But I told him that Chloe was not the type that wanted to get tied down. Didn't add the, to you part, though, Adrien said. Marinette raised a brow. I shouldn't be surprised that you know him, but for some reason I am. And yes, when I heard about that, I thought that she wasn't really fit for it either. I still remember the 3/4 of the titles for that column about her many trias. Marinette leaned her head back on the couch. They had somehow migrated on it together. And, seated very closely. But Adrien, quite honestly, didn't mind. Oh yeah, I'd love to tell you that they were mostly rumors, but that would be a lie, Adrien groaned, thinking of the many flings and boys that Chloe would text him about. She got sick of them very quickly. And apparently they were so deep in conversation that neither of them noticed Alia and Nino placing down a plate of cookies. The blondes were giggling like little schoolgirls, and it wasn't until they heard the snorting that Adrien and Marinette had turned to face them. I think you two have a bit of a situation, Alia said, fighting not to break out laughing. The smile on her face was too wide to even try and hide, though. Adrien looked at Nino suspiciously, and then up. There, he saw it. At the end of a broomstick that was being held up by Nino, with a small green plant tied onto it with a string. Marinette made a gargled noise. Okay, why are you like this? She questioned, shooting a look at Alia. A broom? Really? Adrien said, pointing to Nino, who broke out laughing. I mean, you could have done a bit better, he commented to Marinette, who agreed. Alia sharply inhaled. Okay, we get it, you two. It's kinda janky looking, but whatever, it's Mistletoe, and now you have to kiss, she said quickly. Adrien and Marinette shared a mischievous look. I mean, it looks an awful lot like Holly to me, Marinette said with an unsure voice. Alia practically shrieked, and Nino dropped the broom. Adrien honestly was getting a real kick out of this situation. However, it really didn't stop him from wanting to actually kiss Marinette. So while Alia and Nino were screaming and Marinette was laughing, Adrien put his hands on the sides of Marinette's face and pulled her in for a quick kiss. For 2 seconds, she was frozen, but then relaxed. They broke apart with soft smiles. Are you kidding me? Alia yelled. I literally made this idiot tie string onto our broom to record the kiss, and you don't even give me a heads up. Alia crossed her arms, huffing, and Nino shot him a playful glare and wrapped his arms around his puffing girlfriend. The curly-haired girl shot him a look. Put your arm around her, Agreste. Give me something here, she snapped. Adrien laughed and looked at Marinette to silently ask for permission. She nodded. Adrien pulled her in close, and suddenly he was warm all over, as if touching Marinette set off a hearth inside of him. It was so comfortable. Nino was giving him a look that said he knew exactly how hard Adrien had fallen for the girl who his arm was slung around. And quite honestly, for now, he was the only other person that needed to know. Okay, well, other than Marinette. But aside from them, no one else needed to know how smitten he was. No one else needed to know that on that Christmas Eve, during his concert, Adrien's eyes were always flickering towards the side where he knew Marinette was standing. No one else needed to know that his next song, Mistletoe, was written for her. And no one else needed to know how freaking excited he was when she was moving in with him. But the world did know how much he wanted to marry her when he asked her that big question on Christmas Day, underneath the biggest and most glittery mistletoe possible.